Start start with chapter 3. The heading is on discussion with internal environment. Okay. So we'll discuss last session we were discussing with respect to external to the organization. Now we'll discuss with respect to internal environment. Okay. So what are the things we are going to discuss here? It's actually is a easy content where we'll be discussing one with respect to SWOT analysis and one with respect to Porter's generic strategies. So these are the two important headings we'll be discussing. Other things are all basics. See, probably one, two, three, four, five. This fourth and fifth one is direct content based. Other things are now somewhat touching the basic logics like. So probably in the first content we'll be discussing who are the key stakeholders, which means we'll be defining who are the stakeholders of my company and whom do you call as the key stakeholders. For this, we'll take the help of this person's matrix called as Mendelow's matrix. So I'll discuss that later. Then we go for defining a strategy. There'll be some factors which will be influencing, and depending on those factors only, I'll define the strategy. Am I right? I'll craft the strategy, which means they'll be called as influencers or influences. Not I'm talking about human beings. I'm talking about the factors, or we may be calling this as characteristics, or we may be calling another term called as drivers. Okay, because of these drivers, they drive to define the strategy. Okay, so we'll be calling them as drivers. So strategic drivers. Actually, most of the companies, these four will be called as the strategic drivers. One is the industry and the market. See, it's not industry separately and market separately. It's put together industry and market, which means something is having some influencing power over here. So this is the first one. Second thing is customers are the king. Often when we talk about customers, we usually get with confused with customers and consumers. So we'll be clarifying that one. And what are the products and services we are doing it, and in what mode we do it. So probably marketing channels means they are dealing with marketing. So these are the four headings we'll be discussing. Four heading means four strategic drivers. Then we go for core competency, which means, see, again, when we went for defining strategy, you remember to gain competitive advantage, which means I need to have a competency, not a normal competency, my unique competency. That's my core competency so that I can gain advantage, which means I can sustain in the competition and I can gain advantage. And SWOT analysis is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. All these four things will be discussed. Two are internal and two are external. And Porter is defining these strategies called as generic strategies, which means one is you should be you should define a strategy in such that you give this cost leadership, which means cost effective you should be, and you should show this differentiation in the product. Okay. All these things, and every time we cannot talk about innovative product. You agree with me? See, when you talk about innovation, it should be in such a way that nobody has produced. But differentiation is something where it is already there and you're slightly differentiating in some terms or something like that. Okay. And we'll go for focus. Again, focus is with respect to cost leadership we have, and differentiation for focus also. Okay. So ultimately, we'll call this as 2 plus 2 plus 1 strategy. 5 strategies we have under Porter's strategic generic strategy. So we call this as generic strategies, which means most of the organization will follow the strategy. Not most, almost all organization. Okay. So this is defined by Porter. So probably I'll cover the half of the content today. We'll go for the introduction. Actually, introduction in all the topics plays an important role. It give a clear and wider area. So if you go for defining what do you mean by internal environment, so actually we are defining it refers to the sum total of people. People means we are not talking about the individuals or also the groups, the stakeholders, the processes, which means input, throughput, output process, physical infrastructure. When we talk about physical infrastructure, we have to talk about the space, equipment, and also physical conditions of work. We have to go with respect to administrative apparatus, which means lines of authority, hierarchy, organizational structure, okay, power. Responsibility, we have to talk about accountability and organizational culture and intangible aspects of working, which means relationship, philosophy, values, ethical relationship, that everything put together is how the organization is defined. So how you identify this organization? This is how you identify the organization. Okay, this is about the internal environment. For some para, I'll go word to word, line by line. Okay. For some, I'll just skip because it's all basic. For something, we need the help of the lines or the words so that we can understand the topic in a very better way. Okay. So probably specific to each organization. Even though we have defined so many things, For my organization, I may not have everything. So I will be more specific. So probably when we talk about all stakeholders, it may be including top management, investors, employees, board of directors, investors, everybody will be put together here. So why we need to understand this internal environment is we need to understand on what basis we work, the ethical principles. What is my work environment? How far the organization is employee friendly? Okay. I remember I just don't want to mention this hotel name. We went to a restaurant again for a lunch. And usually when we go for lunch, what we do is we go see the star rating, not only star rating. Star rating is just probably many might have given 4-star ratings, 4-star and plus 4-star ratings. But what we usually do is we go for the review. Again, seeing the review, we check. In that review, for a particular restaurant, in that review, one person has given the saying they are pressurizing to buy other products. Like if we go for buying biryani, they said it's a non-vegetarian restaurant. If we go for buying biryani, what the other person says is the servers, the supervisors or managers, they ask to take some other extra side dish. Where will not prefer it. It might be sometimes costly, sometimes we might not be preferring all this to be involved. So that was one review we saw. Another one review was the servers over there are not user friendly. So what person has given this review that they are not user friendly, they are so much pressurizing, they are not properly giving the service and all. So again, the manager has replied for that. He has said that our staffs are not user friendly only. Our staffs are not staffs. Next time I'll go to the restaurant. Okay. See, in all the organizations, customer is the king. Okay. You subsidy your employees. That's secondary. Actually, that's the sole thing. But in the review, if you give this one, how I know next time? How I'll sit to the restaurant? So we stop going there. Okay. We are not sitting. So here, so how far they are employee friendly? Okay, employees' point of view, they want to be they want others friendliness. Confidence of investors. Okay, let me invest in this company. How far I'll gain this return on investment? What's my dividend? Will I get any capital appreciation? I'll be thinking all of this. Okay, and other philosophical and cultural aspects also will be there. That all relates for the success of the management. So directly we'll go for the content 3.2. So our content starts from here only. We need to understand who are the stakeholders, not only who are the stakeholders, who are the key stakeholders. Okay. So when we talk about stakeholders, we have to talk about everybody. See, employees, shareholders, investors, suppliers, customers, regulators, and so on. Probably we cannot just say they are stakeholders in the sense that when we talk about shareholders, they are the owners, which means actually we call them as notional owners of the company. They are the owners. And obviously, before coming inside, they'll be called as the investors. But when we say shareholders, we'll not talk about investors over here because investors are somebody who have not come inside our business. Investors are seen as external to the organization. Shareholders are seen internal to the organization. Okay. So when we say shareholder, they are the owners of the organization. But here the content is not about shareholders, but about stakeholders, which means who are all having any claim. Claim is what you call as a stake. Who are all having any claim. So in that angle, if you define employees, they have a claim. They are getting the salary, they are working for the organization. Shareholders, obviously. Investors, they are outside of the organization only, but still. And suppliers, customers, regulators, because they are the regulators, probably SEBI, regulator. We have to give all the filings. If we are not giving any filing, then we immediately will get a claim. Okay. So the stake. So extension of the owners and shareholders alone will not be considered. To the far extent, everybody has to be considered. So you have to reiterate now the definition for stakeholders, not just the shareholders. We have to reiterate the definition, which means individuals, probably internal to the organization, external to the organization, they have an interest, which means they have a stake. You can please make a note of this word. They have a stake or they have a claim. And because of the stake or claim they are having an impact on the business or the corporate strategy. Okay, so they have the power to influence. So you can have these four wordings: one is interest, one is stake, one is claim, and power to influence. Okay, so ultimately, now when we define stakeholders, we can include, please highlight. There we were not mentioning management. Here now we are including management. Employees already included, shareholders included, customers included. See, vendors are included. So they have, see, we know this five forces, right? What does five forces model? Bargaining power of buyers and bargaining power of suppliers. So buyers is what we call as consumers, not consumers, customers. Consumers and customers are different. Customers need not consume. That's why we call customers different and consumers different. So bargaining power of consumers or customers, buyers, they have the impact. So that they are also a stakeholder, and vendors, bargaining power of supplier as a force. So they also have an impact. So everything has to be considered. And other individuals, groups, governments, labor unions, also local groups, they're all put together to be considered as the stakeholders. Okay. So now our first step is to identify who are the key stakeholders, because each and every organization will have a different type. All the stakeholders, by definition, they are common. But to my organization, to whom I have to give the more preference. So they will be called as the key stakeholders. Okay. So probably if we are talking about healthcare innovation, then it is a long-term perspective. That's an example only. So we have to talk about this return on investment. Okay. So whenever we talk about pharma companies, every time we have to talk about is R&D. So directly I'll go for this one. Okay. Examples of key stakeholders and the requirements for an OTT platform, regarding OTT platform only. When we talk about this type of a stakeholder, shareholder, so what they require, innovative and continuous creative content. See, we are talking about OTT. Okay. Innovative and continuous creative content we want. Total shareholder return should be there, which is nothing but return on investment. See, these are not a list only, illustrative list only. You can add anything. See, instead of OTT platform, if any other things is given, means they can add a list. Okay. Corporate social responsibility. Yes, when we talk about shareholder, we somewhat relate with companies and organizations directly. So we need to talk everything in legal. Top rankings of the organization. Yes, immediately I check whether I'm investing in this company as a shareholder. My company is in top 5, top 10, top 50. Okay, top 500. Okay, you know this Fortune 500 companies. So we are in top 500. Okay, highest market share also will be considered. Whereas we go with the management side, which is CEO and board of directors, they talk about prestige. Yes, I'm CEO of this company. This is prestigious. You are saying that I'm CEO of SSA. The first question will be, what is SSA? Immediately, we probably say, Sahasri Singar Academy. Oh, you give coaching, vocal coaching and dance coaching and all? No, we won't give coaching. Immediately, listen, I know. Okay, which means you're working in this organization, it's a prestige for. Okay. And market share. Obviously, see, when we talk about the shareholders talking about market share, even the management will talk about the market share. Okay. So because of this market share only, we say they are in the top. Okay. And revenue and profit growth and market rankings also. Okay. And major vendors. So we'll be calling them as production houses. See, we are talking about OTT, right? So we are talking about production houses. So if we talk about Netflix, it's playing the biggest role in OTTs. Okay. So probably if I go for this remote controls and all, hereafter we can, earlier it was like only YouTube button was there. Okay. And in this I can find YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, and one more button is there. I don't know which one is this. So nowadays in all the remote controls we have this Netflix button. Okay, we have this Netflix. Earlier it was like YouTube and home stores, the basic buttons will be there, volume buttons and other things and all. And nowadays you can find YouTube buttons, Netflix buttons, and equally that Amazon Prime is also there. Okay, so what about the Steve Hoster? We have to wait. Okay, probably next month. Okay. So production houses. So we talk about who's producing. So their growth, stability of ordering and stability. I'm ordering all these star-related movies and documentaries and other things at all. What about it? Will it be possible for me to maintain this order for the next 2 years or 5 years? So Netflix is maintaining, but there is a tough competition for Amazon. There is a competitor, which is Amazon is also holding the tough competition. Okay, what happens is if Netflix is not buying that production, which means what? Not making the documentary or not buying that script, then obviously who will be buying? Amazon will be buying. Then Netflix is losing to Amazon. Okay, so that's about stability of growth and stable margins. It's not only about growth or ordering. We have to talk about the margins also. How far will give me a return? Then yes, consumers. Who are the consumers here? The viewers. New content. See, I'll check whether there is any new content here. Always boring. Only romantic movies or only action-related movies. Nothing is new. See, nowadays we need something new content. There may be new faces acting, whatever it is. There may not be any songs. They maybe have a dull picture or low voice range and all, but we need to have some innovative product. So what about that? So then better things, yes, pricing benefits. Many are not buying Netflix. Why? Because it's costly compared to others. Okay. And moreover, if you subscribe, if you go for Geo subscription, you'll get GeoTix, Disney Hotstar and all. So likewise, for many cases, we'll get Amazon. But what about Netflix? We have to subscribe, then only we'll get it. So Netflix OTT platform has become like இதெல்லாம் பெரிய ஆளுங்க like that it has happened for Netflix. I can understand. Then value for money and continuous supply. Okay, value for money should be there, and there should be a continuous supply. Then the employees, what they will think. நீங்க என்ன வேணா கொண்டு போங்க, எனக்கு சம்பளம் கொடுங்க. See, ultimate work for them is to get earnings, okay, because for the livelihood. And what are the benefits they enjoy? Okay, not only that, gratuity, pension, other all benefits, perquisites, work related and non-work related. Stability of employment. If I work here today, will it be possible for me to work for another 5 years here itself, or another 10 years, or I'll just join for 1 year and for the next year I have to go search for another job. If I go or if I come out of the organization, if I get a new job, then it's fine. If I'm not getting a job, what is my life now? Okay, so that's a problem. And pride of working. Yes, this is a recruiter organization. Yes, even though I get a small salary or little salary, that's fine. I'm getting a reputation over it. That happens. So that's about it. So now we go for mental loss matrix. Also, it's called as stakeholder analysis matrix. So we need to analyze a stakeholder analysis matrix, and also it's called as power interest matrix. So when we talk about matrix, it's an alignment of rows and columns. So we need to have a row definition and column definition. Probably go to the matrix directly, then we'll come for this content. Actually, it's an easy content only. Power interest matrix, right? So here we'll talk about power, which is nothing but the influence in power, and here we'll talk about the interest. Actually, it looks like this is x-axis and y-axis, but it's called as a matrix. Matrix is an arrangement. So here, when we talk about interest, it can be low or it can be high. It's only a four-cell matrix. So two modes or two definitions of interest. One is low interest and one is high interest. Okay. And likewise, if you go for power, again we have its two. One is low power and one is high power. So it's two columns here and two columns over here. So it's 2 by 2 matrix we call. So it's 2 by 2 is four cell matrix. So when you talk about this power, it may be low or it may be high. Depending on this, see this category is low power and low interest. Am I right? Which means we'll give low priority. Say though they don't have power, they don't have interest, then why we need to give priority? So you just monitor only, you need not make any engagement. General occasional communication. What are the things you have to give it? You give to them. Okay. Likewise, when you go for this case, this is low power, but they have high influence, sorry, high interest. Okay. So probably utilize in the high interest by engaging in decision making. Okay. Because they have a high interest in the organization, you make them involved in decision making and consult in the areas of expertise and interest. When we go for this case, low power, sorry, low, high power, there's high influence and low interest. So often consult because they're having high power, often consult with them and you try to increase their interest. Because if you try to increase their interest, they will shift to this side. Am I right? Which means they will become high in power and high in influence also. See, when we have too many stakeholders, we cannot every time rely on them. We need to go for the key stakeholders. That's why we go for choosing this one. And when this is the case, I'm talking about this purple box, they can be an hindrance to new ideas and strategy choices because they don't have interest, but they have high influencing power. Interest means what? We are talking about the shareholder, voting power and all. Okay, they are having small voting power, because of some passing of any resolution, probably they are holding like 10% or 15%, they may be disturbing our resolutions. So that's why they will be a hindrance, which means they will be blocking our ideas, which cannot make it innovative. So new ideas or strategies. Yeah, they are the key players. High power and high interest. Manage closely. We have to take a keen look and keen care. They will be involved in decision making. We have to engage them regularly and build a strong relationship. So if you go below this line, you'll find that who are the key satisfied stakeholders? There is high power and less interested people, banks, government, customers. See, government is having a high power, but what happens is here they are not having stake here. Stake in the sense shares here. See, less interested. Customers, probably, if I don't buy this product, who's losing? The organization is losing, but I not have a big stake here, which means big shares over here, less interested. Okay. What happens for the key players, which means both high and high? See, shareholders. Okay. See, customers, see, I am holding shares of this company. I am a customer also. But as a customer, I'll be giving a different impact on the organization. As a shareholder, I'll be giving a different impact. Okay. So highly having high power and highly interested people, They are the shareholders, CEOs, whatever. See, they are closely connected. We need to see now. Now let me go for this box. Can you understand this one? This last part. Probably I'll highlight. See this last point. Engage regularly and build strong relationship. So shareholders, CEO, board of directors, the complete management team, and all. Okay. So when we look below here, low priority stakeholders, they have low power and less interest also, like business magazines, media houses. They want to increase the TRP rating. So what they do is they have to give some news. So they say that Gayatri has bought this laptop. We don't know who is Gayatri. We don't know which brand is that. Again, they'll give something. Okay, because we want to give a news about Gayatri. We want to give a news about so something or the other. And if they have very low power and also very less interested people. They're not worried about our organization. Is keep informed. Low power but highly interested. We have to keep them informed. See, employees, vendors. Employees are a beautiful example, but they don't have power. Because whatever the organization says, they have to do it. Okay. But they are highly interested. It's their organization. They will have a high impact here. So suppliers, legal experts. It's a beautiful matrix here. So here's an example with respect to e-commerce startups. You can just have a look. Let me check whether anything is there earlier. Okay, let me have a fast glance on what is the content over here. So we call this matrix as Mendolo matrix or stakeholder analysis matrix or power interest matrix. Okay, it's a 2 by 2 column matrix. So with this framework, it will help us to manage the stakeholders. We'll identify who are the stakeholders. So managing a project is not normal. Okay, so we are going to manage a project. We need to know who are the stakeholders. So with the help of this Mendoza's matrix, you can take the help of the stakeholders. Probably may get a practical problem in this thing. A case study will be given, and we'll be asking you to identify who are the key stakeholders. What we do is we talk about this Mendoza's matrix completely, and we give a summary, saying that with the help of this one we can do it. Okay. So, what does Vendola mathematics suggest is what should analyze stakeholder group? Yes, please highlight. Probably in next content we'll be talking about this group. So, how do you identify the stakeholder group? See, we have this power and interest, right? So, based on power, what do you mean by power? How far they can influence my organization strategy and resources. And the other one is with respect to interest, how far they are interested in the organization succeed. Okay. So some stakeholders will hold more power, some stakeholders will have less interest. These are not normal lines, so you can just have a look. Okay. So how far they are going to have an impact over time. So we are developing a grid and we completely see which one has to be given more importance. Okay. So probably as we were discussing here, if your case is in the purple box, keep satisfied. What we done is see they have high power but low influence. We try to make it as a key player, which means we make it a high power and high weight because we cannot have scattered stakeholders. We need to have a small grouping that will be helpful for us. Okay, so we can just have a look on this vendor loss. Yes, please. Strategic drivers 3.3. So important aspect of internal analysis is assessing the current performance of the business. Please highlight. You may get it as in quotes. So when we talk about assessing the current performance, the strategic drivers has to be given importance so that it is how I'm actually differing myself from the competitor. Okay. See, I need to see my next heading is core competency. So when I talk about core competency, I need to know what is my uniqueness, which means how far I'm differentiating from my organization from the competence. So that's about this para. It's a very beautiful para. So we talk about the key markets, key customers. See, it's all now key. Okay, we have already done the key stakeholders. Now we have to go for drivers. Then we have to go for confidence. It's all interlinked. Okay. So we are talking about the key markets, key customers, and what are the products and services we provide, and the channels. So directly we'll have a four strategic drivers here. So they are the key strategic drivers. One is industry and market. So industry and market put together we'll discuss, and customers, products or services and channels. Okay. So first we'll go for industry and markets. So you know what you meant by industry. Myself, I'm producing a product. Yourself, you're producing your organization producing some other product, but it's of similar in nature. We call it as an industry. Food industry. See, you might be knowing ITC and Tata. They are in so many industries. They are in hotel industry, they are in technology, they are in so many industries. But for soap will not call it a separate industry. Understand? They are in pharma also. But for soap will not call it as a separate industry. For Tora Purple will not call it as a separate industry. Okay. For shampoo, everything will be put under one FMCG, fast moving consumer goods. So what they understand is everything is put together we call as the industry. Okay. I may be producing soap, I may not be producing shampoo, but still I'm put under industry, which means I may not be producing the same product, but still it is being utilized. Okay. So industry and markets. So directly I'll go for this one. Similar companies, I want to highlight this line. This is how it's been defined. Similar companies are grouped together into industries. So probably if we go for grouping, if we go for automobile industry, we'll talk about all the automobile producers. Maruti, Mahindra, Tata, everybody. Okay. So when we talk about Mahindra's a case, right? When we talk about Mahindra, who's the main competitor? Tata. If you go for especially SUVs and especially electric SUVs, there's a tough competition between Mahindra and Tata. Is it okay? So likewise, if you go for apparels company, we have Zara, H&M, Marks Spencer, Pantaloons, Westside, all these are selling garments, apparels. Okay, which means stitched ready-made dresses, not cloths, ready-made dresses. So we have these. So they are all classified as apparels. We can give anything from. We can give for mobile industry also. We can give for e-commerce also. Anything you can give. Now we'll define. So that's about industry. Now we'll define what do you mean by market. Is defined as a sum total of all the buyers and sellers in the area or region under consideration. So in that particular area, who are the sellers and who are the buyers and how they are what associated, and we say it's of selling of products. That's why we need to talk about consideration and everything. Okay. So we'll talk about the value, we'll talk about the cost, we'll talk about the prices of items traded as per the supply and demand policy. So that's the main force over here. And when we talk about the market, we have two types of market. So it is types. What are the two types of market? One is physical market, where you go to the supermarket and you buy everything. And another is virtual market. You go to the supermarket, you see everything, you don't buy everything. You come home, then order in the app. Why? It's giving discount. Okay, obviously, many will do. Sometimes I also do. Instead of going there and carrying everything, I have gone once and I know that buying over there and buying in app is 10% discount I get. Let me buy in app itself. Why I need to go over there? Okay. So physical market is window shopping, like virtual market is buying and selling. Okay. So like e-commerce websites and all we have. So is market the same for all business? See, market we cannot say it's same for all business because for different products and different things we have different markets. Okay. So again, they're giving an example for FMCG selling shampoos, dairy products. So as I was discussing with respect to soap, shampoos, and other things, they are discussing with respect to shampoo, dairy products. That's it. Okay. Now we'll go for the first one, industry and markets in detail. Sorry, we are in the first one only. We need to understand or analyze industry and for this, we are going to use a tool which is called as strategic group mapping. Okay. Why we need to talk about this strategic group mapping is let me go for that mapping. Probably the next page you can see it. This is again like a comparison. See, try to understand this one. It's a beautiful mapping. We call it mapping. It's not a matrix. Okay. It's not like a graph or something like that. We are going to group something. See, we are going to group something and we are going to map it. Mapping means bring to picture. And this group is not a normal group. It's called as a strategic group, which means they'll be having some impact. Probably if I talk about this ABC, and this horizontal line is talking about the range of products, and this is talking about the reputation. Okay. This ABC is, see, if you see for the five groups, this is the smallest group here. Okay. When you go for the range of products, it's very few. And when you talk about the reputation among consumers, it's very high. For example, jewelries, furnitures, and all. The reputation is high, but what about the products? Will be very less. But if you go one step ahead, there may be very much range of products compared to the earlier ABC block. Now I am in DEF block. There's few more variety of products, but what happens? Reputation is bit less. Okay. Likewise, if you go for PQR, PQR has lot of products. But what happens here? Not much reputed compared to GHI. So now you compare these two. Okay, actually it's a beautiful comparison. If you compare these two, GHI and XYZ, what is the range of products? Somewhat same, right? Somewhat same range of product. But what about the reputation? GHI is having the reputation more and compared to XYZ. Okay. So probably when you talk about the reputation, we'll talk about brand. Okay. Here we'll not talk about much about brand. So that's about the main difference. So these are the things discussed in the below page completely with respect to what do you mean by vertical axis and what do you mean by horizontal axis. So this is what I discussed. I'm not going to go line by line. You can have a fast glance. Before that, I'll just check whether I have left out. Let me come over. Let me finish off the starting. Okay. So what do you mean by it's a very important heading, but often repeated question also exam point of view when you talk about strategic grouping. Okay. Strategic grouping. See, you may expect this question under industry and market, or you may expect this directly as strategic group mapping. Okay. So when you go here, let me define this one. Let me go line by line. Okay, this is quite important. A strategic group which will have in that group. See, I'm talking about GHI as one group, which means G is also having reputation, H is also having reputation, I is also having, and they are competing themselves. That's why we call as GHI. See, we have Mahindra, we have Tata, we have Maruti, we have other players also, but who is directly competing with same size, which means what? Same range of products and same reputation. Okay, so those rival firms which have similar competitive approaches and positions in the market, please highlight the rival firms which have similar competitive approaches and positions. Companies in the strategic group can resemble one another in any of the several ways. Probably how we say they are similar in nature. One is product line led. Tata is also producing petrol vehicles, and this one is Mahindra is also producing petrol, and everybody are producing petrol and diesel. Petrol, diesel, with respect to gas-based engine, and with respect to what electric SUVs, everything is over there. Okay, so product line led, they sell in the same price quality range. So probably the range will be same. Probably if I buy SUVs around some 18 lakhs to 25 lakhs, the same range Tata also produces. So what I'll check now, whether I can go for Mahindra or whether I can go for Tata. Okay. Emphasis the same distribution channel is easily accessible, easy available, and use essentially the same product attributes. Here is also electric, here is also electric, SUVs. Okay. So same product attributes, targeting the similar type of buyers. See, I'm going to buy a car. You're going to buy a car. You'll also have a same discussion. I'll also see if you go for buying a car, if you go for buying a TV, if you go for buying a fridge, wherever you go for a shop, what the customer's mindset will be. Whether I go for this, I'm going to buy a leave of car. I'm going to buy a washing machine. I can go for top load or front load. This will be the first question. Next, what is the capacity of the machine? See, my intention is to buy a washing machine. I'll have only these type of facilities. So they'll be called as similar type of buyers. Okay. Depend on identical technological approaches and offer similar services and technical assistance. Now it's fine, but what about later period? Will I get the same assistance later period also? So this is a very, very important line. You have to make a note of it. So an industry contains only one strategic group where all sellers pursue essentially identical strategies and have comparable market position. Automobile industry is a very beautiful example because everybody are planning for electric SUVs. Everybody have எல்லார்கிட்டயும் இந்த பெட்ரோல் வண்டி இருக்கும் டீசல் வண்டி இருக்கும் கேஸ் வண்டி இருக்கும் இப்ப இந்த எலக்ட்ரிக் எஸ்யூவிஸ் இவங்க ரெண்டு பேர் தான் இருக்காங்க ஃபியூஷன்ல வந்துடும் ஓகே so at the other extreme there are many other strategic groups there are competitors and each rival pursues a distinctly that's what we are talking about the competition and they have distinct competitive approach and also we have distinct competitive position in the market. This is a very very important para. Please highlight when we write about strategic group mapping, we have to write this para and also the graph, the picture. Okay, so don't forget that it's quite important. Yeah, this one also probably you may expect this as a separate person. What's the procedure for identifying or making the strategic group? Which means we have to identify the competitive characteristics. Why? Because the competitors are there in the so we need to identify the competitive characteristics. In which way? Price quality range. We have discussed this already. Geographic coverage. Vertical integration is there. Mahindra and Mahindra automobile is using their own steel. Yes. So raw material is provided by its own industry. Product line breadth should be considered use of distribution channels and degree of service offered. Then what is the next? You have identified so many things. What is that you're going to do next? You go for plotting, which means you take a two variable map. Okay. Then you go for assigned forms. Which one has to be grouped where? So which one? G in which group it will come over here. Okay. A which group it comes over here. See, when you again go for this comparison, let me focus on one group. Probably my focus is on GHI. Okay, please understand. My focus is on GHI. One case I'll compare with ABC. Now see ABC, this block, they have same reputation. But what about ABC and GHI? ABC is producing only small range of products. That's why A cannot be directly compared with G. Am I right? G and H and I can be compared because they are direct competitors. But what about A, B, and C? They are direct competitors within themselves. But we cannot compare A and G. We cannot compare A and H. Okay, so that's about one comparison. How they differ, GHI and ABC? ABC is having less range of products. Now let me go this way. Probably XYZ. XYZ and GHY is more or less same product line, which means what same range of products, but only thing is they are more reputed. Again, when you talk about PQR, sometimes how will you talk about reputation? நான் கல்யாணத்துக்கு போற ஒரு சூப்பரா ஒரு ட்ரெஸ் போட்டு ஒரு 500 ஒரு ஷர்ட் வாங்கினா போட்டு போனா தூக்கி போனா முடிஞ்சது. Am I right? See, we not talk something more time about reputation, but we talk about range of products. Okay, reputation எல்லாம் secondary. எல்லாம் வேணும் எனக்கு இமீடியட்டா இது வேணும். I'm use பண்ணி தூக்கி போடணும். Okay, so I'll be talking about PQR. Sometimes PQR will be beating GHI. We might be thinking, see whether if you compare this way, see, if you compare this way, ABC or GHI, XYZ or GHI, I'll stand for GHI because GHI is reputed, has more number of products. So compared to ABC, GHI is better. Compared to XYZ, GHI is better. But what about this two comparison? I will go for PQ1. Okay, which one is more better? PQR is more better. Okay. ஒன்றும் இல்லை நேற்று வந்து இந்த கொடைக்கானல்ல யூஸ் பண்றதுக்காக மேட்ரஸ் எல்லாம் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கோம் லைக் இந்த ப்ரொடெக்டட் கவர் சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல நேற்று நைட் ஒரு 11 மணி இருக்கும் ஆர்டர் பண்ணலாமா வேண்டாமான்னு சொல்லிட்டு யூஸ்வலி myself and sir we prefer like white color maximum light color white color தான் இந்த கிட்ட இருக்கும் ஓகே அதுல பார்த்த கலர்ஸ் எல்லாமே வந்து டார்க் ப்ளூ டார்க் ப்ரௌனு டார்க் கிரீன் அடிக்கும் பாருங்க கலர் அந்த ரூம்குள்ள போனாலே அந்த கலர் தான் தெரியும் வேற எதுவுமே அந்த மாதிரி இருந்தது வாங்கலாமா வேண்டாமா யோசிச்சுட்டே இருந்தோம் பட் நெக்ஸ்ட் செக் பண்ணும்போது பிராண்டடா நான் பிராண்டடா ஐ வென்ட் ஃபார் நான் பிராண்டட் யூஸ்வலா பிராண்டட் தான் போவேன் பட் ஐ வென்ட் ஃபார் நான் பிராண்டட் ஏன் தெரியுமா அங்க போயிட்டு எனக்கு பிடிக்கலையா நான் தூக்கி போட்டுருவேன் ஒரு 4 வாட்டி வாஷ் பண்ணனா தூக்கி போட்டுருவேன் பிராண்டட் தூக்கி போட பண்ண சொல்லணும் அது 2000 ரூபாய் அது 500 ரூபாய் நீங்களே சொல்லணும் 500 ரூபாய் போட்டு 4 வாங்கி வச்சுட்டு 2 மாசத்துக்கு யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டு தூக்கி போட்டுடலாம் சரியா அது எனக்கு வேலை தானே யோசிச்சு பாருங்களேன் வார வாரம் நான் கொடைக்கானல் போயிட்டு மூட்டை மூட்டையா தூக்கிட்டு வந்தா வாஷ் பண்றதுக்கு நல்லா இருக்காது இல்ல சோ வாட் வி ஆர் பிளானிங் இஸ் ப்ராபபிலி அதுக்கு எல்லாமே ஃபண்ட் தேவைப்படுது ஃபியூச்சர்ல வந்து இந்த ஈஸியஸ் த்ரோ பெட்ஷீட்ஸ் மாதிரி இருக்கும்ல பிளாங்கெட்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி பிளான் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம் வந்தா யாரா இருந்தாலும் ஃப்ரெஷ்ஷா இருக்கணும் அதை யூஸ் பண்ணி த்ரோ பண்ணிடணும் நீங்க யோசிச்சு பாருங்க அங்க போயிட்டு என்னால வாஷ் பண்ண முடியல இங்க வந்து வாஷ் பண்ணி திரும்ப இங்க இருந்து அங்க தூக்கிட்டு போறேன் ஊருக்கு போயிட்டு வரும்போது பாத்திருக்கீங்களா தெரியல கேரி சோ மச் ஆஃப் லக்கேஜ் போகும்போது ஒரு 4 லக்கேஜ் தூக்கிட்டு போறேன் வரும்போது ஒரு 4 லக்கேஜ் தூக்கிட்டு வரேன் அதான் இருக்கு அப்ப நான் யோசிச்சேன் பிராண்டட் போலாமா அன்பிராண்டட் போலாமா லெட் மீ கோ ஃபார் அன்பிராண்டட் ஏன்னா எனக்கு பிடிக்கலையா 4 வாட்டி தூக்கிட்டு வரேன் நெக்ஸ்ட் டைம் தூக்கி போட்டுறேன் எதுக்கு நான் அதை பத்திரமா வச்சுக்கணும் எனக்கு தேவை இல்லைல்ல எதுக்கு நான் தேவையில்லாம பணம் எல்லாம் போட்டு அதெல்லாம் வேஸ்ட் பண்ணுவோம் சோ ஐ கோ ஃபார் நான் பிராண்டட் இதே நான் லேப்டாப் வாங்குறேன் பிராண்டட் போனா நான் பிராண்டட் போகணும் நான் எங்க போனாலும் லேப்டாப் போட்டு தான் போறேன் பட் ஐ கோ ஃபார் பிராண்டட் ஏன்னா அதுதான் எனக்கு மெயின் யூஸ் ஓகேயா நேத்து சார் வந்து ஒரு 1 hour கிளாஸ் ஓடலாங்கிறதுக்காக நான் லேப்டாப் தூக்கி போடுறேன் புதுசு வாங்கினேன் டென்ஷன் ஆயிட்டேன் இட்ஸ் நாட் த ப்ராப்ளம் ஏன்னா கிளாஸ் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணதே 11 o'clock நடுவில் வந்து இந்த மாதிரி ஆச்சு சுத்தமா மூட் அவுட் ஆயிடுச்சு ஒரு இது ஏன்னா லேப்டாப் ஒர்க் ஆகலன்னா இன்னொருத்தரோட லேப்டாப் யூஸ் பண்றது ரொம்ப டஃப் எனக்கு இந்த பேட் இல்லைன்னா எனக்கு கிளாஸே வராது திக்கி திணறுவேன் நானு சி வி ஆர் நாட் யூஸ் டு தட் மோட் ஓகே இந்த மாதிரி ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் எல்லாம் ரேஸ் ஆகும் ஓகே லெட் மீ கண்டினியூ So this is how we can compare with models bar. If you have a keen look, it'll be more better. Okay. So what is the procedure? Let me start from the beginning. The procedures will identify the competitive characteristics on what basis. Some factors will be there, right? On what factors? Yes, please join. One is price quality range. Second is geographical coverage. Third is degree of vertical integration. Fourth is product line breadth. Fifth is use of distribution channels. Sixth is degree of service offer. You may have so many things depending on that. You do that small movie. Now you're going to plot the forms. It's a two variable map. Then you assign the forms. Which one has to go which way? G has to go where? See, before doing all this, actually a box is created. When I talk about A, okay, what the form A is about? product of there is the range of product is low, but reputation is high. Okay, let me plot over here. Please try to understand. A is over here. What about B? Range is high, reputation is less. Okay, let me plot over. So this is how the plotting is done. Okay, then I'll go for G. Okay, it comes over here. Then X, it comes over here. Then H, it comes over here. T comes over here. So at last, what I'm doing, I'm plotting everything. So I'm getting like a group, small group, like scatteredness and small group like X, Y, Z. So I form a group, and group. Mapping is done and grouping is done. So usually we are not grouping and mapping. See, please try to understand. We did not group first and map it. We mapped it first. After this mapping is done, we have gone for grouping. So mapping is like in this box, I'll get dots, 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 dots. And I go for grouping. Please try to understand. Okay. After that, we draw the circles around each strategic group, making the circles proportional to the size. Please highlight making the circus proportional to the size. So how far it is affecting? See, when we talk about the big bubble over here, is about PQ1. These three organizations is covering almost like most of the categories. See, this is a very big bubble. And compared to the all the five groups, we have ABC is a very small bubble. And again, if you have a look, ABC is the reputed companies but very less product ranges. Okay, PQR is having much product ranges but less reputed. Is it okay? So that about this heading. So this and all you can go through. So till here is first driver over. Yes, can you please go through? Actually, another stream arc, the second driver is a very important driver, but obviously what happens is each and every time I cannot give importance only to the customers. Probably customers together, we call it as a market, and market together is what we call as the industry. So only the customer is the important driver. No, no, you cannot say exactly that. So obviously, because of the customers only, our organization is linked only. Okay. So to understand customers in a better way, we need to understand who are the different types of customers. Okay. And obviously, different customers will have different needs and also they require different sales model and different channels. Beautiful content now. So as I was telling, whether I'll use a physical marketplace, no, I'll go for virtual market. Whether I go for branded item, no, I go for a non-branded item. Whether I go for a non-branded item, no. See, I am a single person for one item, for one need. I may be using a branded one for one other need. I may be using a non-branded. So for one person itself, it's having a difference. So depending on, see, now I'll read this line. Please understand. Different customers, okay, different needs. So different sales model, different channels. Everything is different. It's not but talking about one person. Talking about one person according to their needs may be different, and according to that, sales model will be different, and channels also might be different. For example, now we have this IKEA furniture. I could have talked so many times about this IKEA furniture. Okay, if you have time, just have a look. It has opened a showroom in Delhi. Okay, in the heart of the city. So Delhi is a very busy area. In the heart of the city, I think it's Pacific Mall. Pacific Mall. Okay, the area of that outlet, IKEA outlet, no, not the whole mall. That area of the IKEA outlet are 15,000 square feet. 15,000 square. Such a big place. Almost like 200 items they have on display. And when I read this article, it gave an information saying that everybody they're purchasing IKEA in India. They were purchasing IKEA is not an Indian brand. Okay, so they were purchasing in India only through online. So they were doing all this marketing through online, and now they are open this physical marketplace. Okay, so I just came through this one of the video. One lady, I don't know whether I have discussed. One lady in Chennai, she shifted to a flat. She bought everything from IKEA. Only for that purpose, she chose a flat. Even the bed, cot, even the spoon, everything she bought from IKEA. Okay. And one another video I went through that was a review of IKEA product. It's a modular kitchen with all the wardrobes and other things and all. Complete modular kitchen where it completely shows the working after 6 years. How the quality is after 6 years, not immediately. See, most of the product review, I buy today, after 1 month, I give the review. I buy today, I take a picture, we say it's looking very nice, aesthetic, etc. It's not that kind of a review. After 6 years of using IKEA product, IKEA product, how she is giving the review. So she's having the same quality. Okay. So, for example, there is a headphone brand. So we talk about how much you will have a budget of headphone. High value. See, phone है पता है बड़ा वांग रहा हूँ. ஹெட்ஃபோன் 5000 வாங்குவோமா? 1000 ஏதாவது கிடைக்காதான் பாருங்க. Okay, high value buyers, medium value buyers, low value buyers. Even though without headphone also we can survive, but still headphone has become a basic necessity for us. Especially when you use phone in Singer Academy, we need headphone along with phones. Okay, so we can now classify high value. How many customers in thousands? So only 40 plus. What about medium value? It's bit higher. What about low value? It's very high. Okay, less than 1500. It's very high. Okay, this is how it goes. So, when we talk about customers, actually, customers we are not directly seeing this as humans, but ultimately we are seeing this as profit generators. Okay, they generate profits. So, now the issue is now the problem is how we are going to identify the customer and which area you are going to target and what are the basic findings. That's the factors on which you. And another one interesting concept is here we have the relationship between customer and consumer power. So we know this already, so I'm not going line by line. So pricing perspective also we have discussed here. We have given so many examples, see from baby diapers to headphones and so many things we have discussed. So I think we can directly go for product and services. So easy content. Shall I take over? Product and services. Yes, we cannot. Sometimes we say product alone, I'm manufacturing. Sometimes we say service alone, I'm providing. Sometimes we cannot separate product and service separately, which means that they are closely linked and interrelated. Okay. So probably we'll go for a general question. What business we are in? Because this is your organization. You need to define. It's not the name defines your business. It's about what products or service you provide that defines it. So what business are we in and what should be done to win over competition in each product and service we service. So one product I'm going to service. Mahindra, we have automobile, we have steel, we have farm equipments, defense, and so on, utility vehicles. So when you talk about product, it stands for the combination of goods and services. Please highlight, it's not all. It's and services that offers to the target market. See, first we are discussing with respect to industry and market. Second, we are discussing with respect to customers. Now we need to understand which is the target market in terms of goods and service put together. Okay. So they need to, we need this for managing existing product, sometimes over time adding new ones. So you know this product life cycle, right? Sometimes we need to add new ones. When it is in the maturity stage, I need to go for the next product. If I'm not manufacturing or if I'm not in a plan to go for the next product, then my business is going down. Okay. So dropping failed products, sometimes goes in this way. Okay. So how can I going to classify industrial or consumer product? It's obviously Mahindra automobile or Mahindra farm equipments, which is for agri purpose, or Mahindra utility vehicles. No, I just went through this one. Mahindra logistics Alte, I think. I'm not okay with the spelling. It's not getting registered in my mind. Let me check. It's about Mahindra's logistic. Singing a long time. Okay, if possible, just have a look on this Alte. Alyte, I think. It's Mahindra Alte. It's on not automobiles, it's about logistics. Logistics is transporting from one person to another person. They have started this app. Probably, I don't know how far all over India they have started or not. They have started this app. You can just have find some details. I'll also check. I have not gone through it complete, so I'll just go through. So this is on Mahindra's logistics. See, they are involving so many things. So industrial is there, consumer products is there, essentials or luxury is there, durables or perishable is there. So many things we have to discuss. Okay, and not only that, when we talk about this products, we'll be talking about the quality, workmanship, and definitely be changing. So it's like dynamic. We cannot say how far it's going to be changing. It will be changing. See, so far we're discussing that we had only petrol vehicle, we had diesel, then gas, then electric. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. Okay. So everything will be changing. So we'll be discussing about set of policies and strategies depending on how my organizations to work is on dynamics because our environment is totally dynamic. See, our environment is dynamic, not only our environment. We say that the customer is also dynamic, which means the taste is dynamic. Okay. And when we talk about more in detail with respect to products, we can differentiate this with respect to size, shape, color, packaging, brand names, after sales service, and so many things. Okay, recently I came across this Mahindra Batman. Mahindra meets Batman. Probably can check on this also. Mahindra meets Batman. when I was returning from Kodaikanal in the car, it was totally dark, right? Full இருட்டு, கும் இருட்டுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல அந்த மாதிரி. நம்ம வண்டி போறது மட்டும் தான் தெரியும். ஆப்போசிட்ல திஸ் மஹேந்திரா வெஹிக்கிள் கேம். இந்த மிரர் இது பாத்தீங்கன்னா கண்ணாடி போட்ட மாதிரி இருக்கு. இந்த லைட்டிங்ஸ். ஆப்போசிட்ல வண்டி வர்றது வண்டி தெரியவே இல்ல. ஒன்லி த லைட்ஸ் கேன் பி சீன். கம்ப்ளீட் பிளாக். And then I just went through his caption. It's called Mahindra meets Batman. See, it's a beautifully differentiated one. So I thought at least I can discuss that one. ரொம்ப அழகா இருந்தது. பேட்மேன் சிம்பிள் இருக்கும். பி த லெஜெண்ட். நல்லா இருக்குல்ல? அப்படியே அந்த லைட்னிங் ஆக்சுவலா அந்த மியூசிக் போட்டா நல்லா இருக்கும். நீங்க தனியா ஹெட்போன் எல்லாம் வச்சு கேளுங்க. நீங்க ஒரு சில இதெல்லாம் பார்க்கும்போது அது வரும்ல. பெட்டர் ஆடிபிள் வித் ஹெட்போன்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி. ரொம்ப அழகா இதுதான் சொன்னேன். மஹிந்திரா லாஜிஸ்டிக் லான்ச்சஸ் ஆல்டே redefining premium B2C business to customer mobility in India. இது இப்போ லான்ச் பண்ணாங்க பாருங்க 8th ஆகஸ்ட் தான். See, completely Mahindra is Indian domestic இல்லையா, அதனால வந்து என்ன பண்றாங்கன்னா இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ் டே வரும்போதெல்லாம் ஏதாவது ஒன்று பண்ணிட்டே இருப்போம். ஸோ இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ் டே வந்து கம்ப்ளீட்லி இஸ் கோயிங் ஃபார் லான்ச்சிங் இட். இது ஆக்சுவலாக கொஞ்சம் ஸ்டோரி மாதிரி தான் இருக்கு பெருசா. ஐ டென்ட் ஃபைண்ட் டு கோ த்ரூ ஈச் அண்ட் எவ்ரி வேர்ட். ப்ராப்ளி நீங்க பாருங்க, இட் வில் பி ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல் ஃபார் எக்ஸாம் டெஃபினெட்லி. ஓகே, ஆக்சுவலா நான் என்ன அப்படியே ரேண்டமா படிச்சேன்னா இட்ஸ் ஆப் லைக் எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சதான் தெரியல, நான் தப்பா அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிட்டேன்னா தெரியல, நான் கரெக்டா படிக்கல. அதெல்லாம் வந்து இட் வாஸ் லைக் அன் ஆப் மாதிரி இருந்தது. ஏதோ டெக்னாலஜி எல்லாம் இங்க பாருங்க. It is launched in Delhi with planned expansions across Noida International Airport, Mumbai. இதுதானே லாஜிஸ்டிக்ஸ் தான், டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட் தானே. அப்ப ப்ராபப்ளி ஒரு பிளேஸ்ல இருந்து இன்னொரு பிளேஸுக்கு போறதுக்கு மட்டும் தான் பிளான் பண்ணிருக்க மாதிரி இருக்கு. ப்ராபப்ளி லைக் காசு அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும் போல இருக்கு. இப்ப நம்ம எப்படி இருக்கு, ஃபாஸ்ட் ட்ராக் எல்லாம் இருக்குல்ல, யூபர், ஓலா, அப்படி இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். எனக்கு நான் கரெக்டா படிக்கல. ஏன்னா டிராவல் போடுறோம், கீ மெட்ரோபாலிட்டன் சிட்டிஸ்ல மட்டும் தான் லான்ச் பண்றாங்க. லைக் மும்பை, பெங்களூருக்கு மட்டும் தான் பிளான் பண்றாங்க. இதெல்லாம் போட்டோம்னா ஐ தாட் அப்படிதான் இருக்கணும். இங்க இருக்கு பாருங்க, லைவ் ஜிபிஎஸ் ட்ராக்கிங் 24/7 ஜீரோ கேன்சலேஷன். இது ஃபாஸ்ட் ட்ராக் மாதிரி தான் இருக்கு பாங்க. சி வித் அஷ்யூர்ட் ரைட்ஸ். சி கேன் கெட் திஸ் ஒன், assured rights, transparent search, free pricing, zero cancellations, premium ride experience. அப்ப இதெல்லாமே பார்க்கும்போது ப்ராப்ளி ஹீஸ் கிவிங் அ டஃப். இது வந்து என்னன்னு சொல்லுவோம்னா we call it as forward integration. See, I manufacture, steel is my raw material, I manufacture the raw material, then I bring it to the thing, I have my own showroom, அது வரைக்கும் முடிஞ்சிச்சு. இதை வச்சு நான் இன்னொரு சப்போர்ட் கொடுக்கறேன்ல, கஸ்டமர் சப்போர்ட், டேரக்டா B2C. That's again one step ahead. So we call this as manufacturing. What is another? We call this as like this is my place now. I'm going one step ahead vertically. Okay, I'm not shifting my industry vertically. So this is what we call as vertical and forward integration. So when we talk about vertical forward integration, you can have this example. Definitely, if you give all this example, they are very much highlighting your paper. I'm very sure. Okay. So let me continue. Shall I continue, Bob? So where I am. So, oh, here, after sales service and so many things. Yes, sometimes it happens. This differentiation may not be real, it may be imaginary also. See, we are not, see, when we talk about this Mahindra Batman series, actually, the Batman symbol is all over there in the windshield mirror and in the steering and everything and all. But it's only imaginary. It's not giving other different experience over. Okay, it's only black in color. See, when we go for other models, we have different colors, different shades are there. But when we go for Batman series, it's only black color and the Batman symbol is there. Okay. Likewise, when you go for shampoo brands, we have Head and Shoulders, Olay, Old Spice, Pantene, all belong to P&G, Procter and Gamble. உங்களுக்கு வந்து போடுறது இருக்கா head and shoulder. You have seen this head and shoulder ad. They'll not be showing head, they'll be showing the shoulders. Okay, because all இதை போட்டுக்கலாம் வந்து ஷோல்டர்ல தான் இருக்கும். லைட்டா தலையை தட்டினா நீங்க பாட்டு வந்து ஒரு கேர்ள் சூப்பரா நம்மளுக்கு முன்னாடி போறாங்க, ஒரு பாய் வந்து ஸ்மார்ட்டா முன்னாடி போறாங்க சொல்லி இப்படி தலையை இப்படி பண்ணி பாருங்க, ஃபுல்லா ஷோல்டர்ல வந்து இது இருக்கும், டேண்ட்ரஃப் இருக்கும். ஸோ நான் ஓன் கற்பனைலாம் சொல்ல, அந்த அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் அப்படிதான் வந்துருப்பாங்க ஹெட் அண்ட் ஷோல்டர். ஹேவ் ஆல்ஸ் கொஞ்சம் டீசென்டான ஆடா காமிக்கணும்னா இது என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, டவல்ல தொடச்சுப்பாங்க. டவல்ல தொடச்சா டேண்ட்ரஃபா இருக்கும், அப்படி இருக்க கூடாது. லைக் பிரதர்ஸ் அண்ட் சிஸ்டர்ஸ் பி பிளேயிங் டவல்ல தொடச்சா என்ன இவ்வளவு டேண்ட்ரஃபான்னு சொல்லி ஒரு ஆட் இருக்கும். அண்ட் பேண்டி like this, if you go for the brands, you have like oily hair, dry hair, what type of hair, you have frizzy hair, அந்த மாதிரி எக்கச்சக்கமா வைக்கிறாங்க. Okay. So how they formalize this product differentiation is by brand names for the respective products. See, this PNG, Head and Shoulders respective product, Pantene is respective product, but all belong to PNG only. Okay. So the firm's image is built around brand spa. So just now we were talking about this group dynamic, right? So particular product over a particular period of time. So when we talk about new product, we'll talk about pricing strategy because we are just now entering the market. So it should be designed in such a way, and we have to think, keep three things in our mind. What is that? Whether is we have following this customer centric. We have two types of approach. One is customer centric and one is product centric. Okay, whether we are following this one, and products produces sufficient returns and increasing in the market share. So when we talk about this one, we have to talk about how we are going to bring to the customer. See, so okay, fine. Customers are there, industry and market is there, interesting and market is there. How we are going to take that to the industry? That is that to the market. So the customers will be aware of it. One is social marketing. Okay. So probably social marketing is we bring probably some society related changes we try. Because see, smoking in Delhi is prohibited. Probably you might be knowing that uh, near the school areas we should not sell drugs and smoking is prohibited zones and all. So that's one. So it refers to design, implementation, and control of programs, increasing to the accessibility of social ideas. So we take the help of that. Next is augmented matrix. Marketing. Marketing is what type of additional benefits we provide, say, including additional customer service and benefits like after sales service. Okay. Next is direct marketing. Yes, direct advertisement media. So what are the different medias we have? We take everything. Okay. So direct marketing includes catalog selling, email, telecommuting, it's all direct marketing. Next is relationship marketing. Yes, we want to give some support to the channel. So you're my regular customer. I give some support. See, in airplanes and all, what they do is airports and all. They give the major airports and all. They give for to building this relationship. They give some specific benefits. They give the rest area, waiting room and all. Okay. So the process of creating, so it's relationship, right? Process of creating, maintaining and enhancing strong value creating relationship with customers and other stakeholders. When we go for service marketing, so it's like marketing to service thing. So service is something what you cannot actually measure. You have to make them feel. It's something connected with emotion. Am I right? So person marketing. Okay, who is this? I want to use Luxo. Okay, I have some person X paying this ad. I'm not interested. But instead, what I do, I have Tendulkar over here. So Tendulkar, you know this boost is for Tendulkar. For bad, there was a Tendulkar picture. Tendulkar signature will be there. So likewise, we'll give the persons highlight, ambassadors like that. So politicians, sports stars, film stars, they market themselves to get votes and promote their careers. Recently, I saw this Velaman school ad. Gukesh got this championship, right? Chess master. So after he got this championship, after he got this role, everywhere, wherever say the Velaman ad, we get this Gukesh photo. Okay. Organization marketing, yes, it's applicable for both a non-profit organization and profit organization. We'll talk about the behavior of the target audience and we'll then place marketing if it's a tourism related. So hotel industry will be developing over there. So depending on the place, we talk about the marketing. Enlightened marketing, probably what type of marketing will be helpful? Probably this is like a hybrid case now. We'll be considering all the marketing. So we'll consider five principles. See, enlightened means I'm not talking about today's business alone. I'm talking about tomorrow's also. So I'll talk about the long run performance. Five principles will be followed. One is customer oriented. Second is innovative. Third is value marketing. Fourth is sense of mission. And fifth is societal marketing. All these five principles will be kept in the mind and noticed. So customer oriented. Focus on customers. Innovative marketing. I want to bring something innovative. Okay. Next is value marketing. See, not only innovative, it should be value creation, value addition also. Sense of mission marketing, which means how I'm going to make it more emotional to them directly. And societal marketing, we have discussed already. Okay, relating to society ideas. Then differential marketing, so same like we discussed Pantene shampoo and other shampoos. See, Hindustan Unilever has soap brands, Lifebuoy. Who will be using Lifebuoy? Those persons sitting in the AC and going to home, they'll not use Lifebuoy. They'll use Lux, Rexona, another thing. Who will use Lifebuoy? I'm a marketing person. Okay, I'm a sports related person. Then I'll go for Lifebuoy. ஏன்னா லைஃப் ஆட்லயே பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒருத்தர் வந்து பயங்கரமா வேலை செஞ்சுட்டு குளிச்சுட்டு இருப்பாரு இதே லக்ஸுக்கு பாத்தீங்கன்னா அழகா பாத்டப்ல போட்டு சோப் போடுவாங்க Okay, the difference is there. Likewise different, lux is different. Okay, நீங்க வந்து கேர்ள் ஃப்ரெண்ட் இல்ல பாய் ஃப்ரெண்ட் பார்க்க போறீங்கன்னா லக்ஸ் போடுங்க. ஓகே, இதே வந்து நீங்க ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ்ல கேம் ஆட போறீங்கன்னா லைஃப் பாய் போடுங்க. டிஃபர்ஸ் அவ்வளவுதான். இதான் லைஃபா? That's the advertisement they give. Likewise, toothpaste ad and all. Synchro marketing. Okay, product like movie theaters, sorry, movie tickets and all. It's sold at lower prices over weekdays to generate demand. If you go for the theme park and all, if you go for the weekend, it will be like a heavy crowd and all. So what they do is they lower the ticket price. So during the weekdays, you can utilize that place. So this is synchro marketing. Synchro means some type of link niche will be created. Okay. And concentrator marketing is a beautiful content. This type of marketing is a market coverage strategy. Okay. I'll take a large share in the market or one of the few sub markets and I'll go for this type of niche marketing. Actually, this is also niche, this is also niche. But especially when we say concentrated, we'll have some link with respect to marketing. Okay. So directly you can have this as niche marketing. So please remove this name over here. Here I use the niche because of some common term. Here they say concentrated marketing is a form of niche marketing. Okay. So remove this term over here. Then demarketing. Yes. Again, I discuss the theme parks and all. Busy time, we don't use it. On Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays, it will be overcrowded. Don't use it. So other times, you know, you use it. So probably ticket fare will be less. Or if you go in 10 for another two, it will be free. Okay. During the summer holidays, it will be very crowded. So the hospitality industry, the hotels and hill stations and all will be very crowded. The fare will be higher. So other times we expect them to come. So these are all covered under product and services. Okay, can you please go to so channels means how the products will be distributed. Okay. One thing I often wonder is about the Maggie noodles. Probably I might have discussed this earlier. Wherever you go, if you are in a hurry burry or if you want to eat immediately, we go for Maggie. Maggie is made available in all over the areas. In South India, you get it. In North India, you get it. In hill stations, you get it. Even if you go for any local side markets, you get it. Even if you go for any highway, you get Maggie noodles. I'm talking about Maggie, not all the noodles, Maggie. There are so many other brands also, but we focus on Maggie. And when this Maggie is made available in all the places, then what are the channels are made available so that it's made access for all the people? I think for two batches before, I was doing a case on Aruna skills. So this time I've taken my hand. I was doing for Aruna Ice Cream CEO. The main founder is his name is Mr. Chandra Mohan. So he was giving an interview. He was saying that this Arun ice creams should be made available even in a village side market. Village side market is what? Like a டீ கடை இருக்கும் ஒரு நாலு சப்பு இடத்துல ஒரு டீ கடை இருக்கும் அங்கேயும் அவைலபிளா இருக்கும். That was major thing. Milk package should be available. Hudson. Hudson is his brand. Okay, milk package should be made available. So it should be made available means what is the distribution system you have to follow? That's about the channels. Okay, so that's channels are nothing but the distribution system. Okay, so probably if we talk about this Lakme, so as I was discussing with Arun and Maggie, we can talk about Lakme. As I was talking with respect to IKEA also. Remember earlier they were doing with respect to online. Now they're opening a showroom. Okay. So like they are giving for both headphones. Both headphones like it's available in Flipkart and Amazon only. Coca-Cola is available everywhere. Okay. So this is how they sell their products and services. See, so far we are focusing that product and services has to reach to the customer. Okay, but how it will be reached? It will be reaching. Okay, but how it will be reached? Okay, so we'll be having different channels also. Okay, so usually we go for three channels. Okay, one is sales channel, one is product channel, and third one is after that what you do. So service channel. So when you talk about sales channel, probably through each channel, how the selling will be made. So fashion designer, how they are making their products to be sold as a retail. Okay. So I'm not going to buy hundreds and hundreds of dresses. For my daily wear, I'm going to purchase some 10 or 5 or something like that in few numbers only. So how I'm going to take the help of that. Okay. Then product channel, probably how many intermediaries will be there? So it's not directly going to the market. Through the intermediaries only they go. Then how they going to physically handle the product? Please highlight. Physical handling of the product is important, right? See, when we talk about apparel store, Reliance or Westside or anything like that, they are selling the service and also the product. It's not just the product. If you go there and if I ask for my size, they give the service too. Okay. And the product has to be brought to that place. How they are going to handle the product? Because it has to travel in so many places. So ultimately, how it's going to reach the end user. Then next is service channel. Yes, product is okay. Sales is okay, but it has reached. But what are the things you're going to provide me? I'm buying an AC. How it has to be installed? Okay, I'm buying a furniture like sofa or something. How I'm going to install them? Whether I can do it on my own or they'll be helping with some process. So there's an example here: dishwasher. We buy it from the showroom, but it has to be contracted. That is, it has to be installed with a plumber. So this channel has to be analyzed properly, and this channel analysis is one of the business strategy. If you plan to grow or expand your business beyond the current geographical market and so on, definitely what you have to plan. You have to plan for this channel. So else you will not sustain it because you produce so much of products, you become so big, but there's no proper distribution channel, then you are not going to sustain over there. Okay, so you have this healthcare brand and all. Okay, and also, when you talk about diapers, so I was talking elderly customers. We talk about the adult diapers is also there. It's now made available. So when you go for this out of stations and all, diapers for baby diapers is available. Elderly use diapers. Adult diapers is also made available nowadays. Okay. So another example, like okay, like school drinks and all. Even in hill station, it's made bottled water. That's also a beautiful example. You know, in hill stations and all is not available. The 1 liter bottle and all is not available. 5 liters can only is available, but still it's made available. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So this is about 3.3. Next class will be discussing the next behavior. So thank you for thanks for joining.